All right, let's get serious over here. Do you guys feel like sometimes the music industry is this ball of frustration and you just like can't understand why? Um, I've kind of been feeling that way myself for a long time, and it's probably one of the reasons why I got into music production. I've noticed over the years, just for reference, so you guys understand, I've been playing music for about 16 years, been producing for about half of those. And I'm 35 years old, so if that puts any perspective, I mean, it's been just about more than half my life I've been making music, just about half my life. So I was like 19, 18. I've picked up a guitar, probably 16, so it's probably been longer than that by now. Anyway, since I've come up in this music world, playing in local bands and writing for other bands. I've noticed that it just kind of gets like harder and harder. I don't know really what the shift was. I mean, we all understand the whole thing with like AI music. AI music was a big thing. It still is a big thing, really. But I don't know. It seems like it's harder to get like gigs now. It's extremely difficult to get paid at local shows now. I mean, that's almost pretty much unheard of, and it's kind of difficult to really make a living off of it. Even like I know cover bands that are struggling, and that's kind of strange because normally cover bands they make their money. They make pretty good money. I mean, they're not rich by any means, but they can get paid. And even some of them are having a really hard time. I don't know. I don't know if it was like the age of like social media. Because as I grew up, I'm a millennial. So as I grew up, I never had really the tech. Like MySpace came out as I was already probably. I mean, I want to say maybe like 16, 15 years old. You know, nobody really had it back then. Not too many people had it. And then, like when I hit high school, everybody had like MySpace, and I think Facebook came out around that time. I don't know if it's because of the social media age, and like the more that you're seeing these bands, like the more work they put in, it's almost like they don't get anything out of it, really. And it really sucks because like you put so much work into this. You know, you go into the studio, you know, you pay a dude like me to like write tracks for you and make it sound awesome, and then you put it out to the world, and it's almost like talking to a wall, really. I think this kind of goes for like any kind of like artistry, any kind of creative endeavors, right? So it doesn't matter if you do music or if you're like a photographer, like I do photography as well. I'm actually shooting through my photography video camera right now, a Sony. Or if you're painting, you know, I've met people on that end of the spectrum as well, and that creative space, and it's really difficult to monetize anything or to at least get recognition for anything that has to do with like creative flow. And I think that's kind of like I think it's kind of tragic because I think art really is what makes us different, and people really like seek after it. And it's really strange because like normally when people look up to artists, when they look up to like a musician or they look up to like a certain painter, you know, people love seeing that thing. Like people would love to see, like, I've been to the Dali Museum. It's a beautiful museum. I love it. You know, people love looking at paintings and they love listening to good music, but it's almost like that's cool, but I'm not really willing to pay for it anymore. Obviously, Spotify, I think, really kind of killed that. $10, you know, what is it now? Like, I don't even remember what it is. Like, last time it went up like $12 a month or something like that. And you get an endless supply of music to any artist and you can get records on there that you can listen to. You know, you don't even need to buy the records anymore. I mean, is it a different experience? Yeah. I mean, you don't really need a record player, but still, I think that the artist is really getting screwed. And it doesn't matter the amount of work that you put into it. Doesn't matter how long you've been an artist or you've been in a band. Now it kind of feels like it's just kind of pointless. You get me? Well, with that said, I do think that as a person who is creative, as a person who likes putting things together, you need to find kind of the thing that gets you going, where you kind of do it for yourself. And years ago, I started discovering as I started doing this whole music production stuff. Long story short, I started doing production because I was in a band, and to go to the studio was really expensive. I mean, we were like, you know, high school kids, you know, and we wanted to go into the studio to record I think it was like a 5-song EP, was about $1,000 per or 1,500 per song. It's been a long time. So, but I remember the total of the record was going to be like like 7,000-8,000, something like that. So that was a lot of money. And being in high school, none of us really. I mean, yeah, we had like little part-time jobs. I used to work as a valet, but that was it's not enough money to be like, okay, I'm gonna go put gas in my car, work valet, come back and record a record. Like it was, none of us really had money like that. So I decided at one point, okay, you know what, why don't I just like, this was like probably a couple years after that. I decided, I'm like, you know what? I kind of like, I am a songwriter. I've always been kind of a songwriter. I stopped playing covers like, Jesus Christ. I stopped playing covers probably like 2 years into me like doing music, into playing in bands. And I decided to just go ahead, get a little Focusrite, a little 2i2 Windows computer laptop that I bought from a pawn shop with these two, I forgot the name of the monitors, but they weren't the greatest things. They were like little 3-inch bookshelf speakers. And that's how I started writing music, using Reaper for free, because Reaper is great, by the way. Reaper is amazing. Anyway, let's not get off topic about Reaper. That's how I kind of started on this whole thing. I already had a guitar amp. I just bought an SM57 and just threw it up to a mic cab, and that's how my whole journey began, trying to get the best sounds that I possibly could in my bedroom as, my parents were going to work, then I could crank the amp up, So it was a fun experimental time. Yeah, but that's kind of really how I got my beginnings in doing this. And even before that, I remember I used to be in a band before. I've been in many bands, but like this is before, I want to say like freshman year of high school. And we had like these demo ideas I wanted to. It was about the time that like, I think it was about the time that like Asking Alexandria was like first coming out. Don't quote me on that, but it was around there. Or like Bullet for My Valentine was just starting to blow up. They had just released like the Poison album. So we learned every single one of those songs on the Poison. Was it Poison? I'm not remember. I'm kind of blanking on the name. I don't remember if it was Poison or if it was their first EP, the one with Hand of Blood in it. It might have just been Hand of Blood. Yeah, I think it might have just been that because I don't think Tears Don't Fall was on the Poison. Anyway, I'm getting off track. That's how I ended up where I am now, doing ghostwriting and production because it's something that fulfills me. And like, yes, I do get paid to do it. This isn't like a free, thing that I do. But at the same time, it does fulfill my creative itch to write stuff. And I think that's where many artists need to be. I think you guys need to find something that kind of like it's further. It's more than just, trying to obtain a label, because let's be honest, that's kind of a joke nowadays anyway. Most of these bands have either paid their way or you need to meet somebody that's in the industry that can get you into that position. It's not, I rarely see it anymore. And this is going to sound derogatory in a way, but I don't see it anymore that it's about talent. There's many bands nowadays that don't really have talent, that are like major bands. I'm not going to name any of them here because, of course, I don't want to get in trouble. I see many bands that are under labels now that are doing big things that to me just make meh music. It's average. It's cookie cutter, run of the mill stuff. It's almost like nobody is like creative anymore. Everybody just wants to do like, the cookie cutter easy thing. I know some local bands in the area that use AI to write their music. So they'll literally just go to Suno, pull up an AI track, and then they'll just re-record everything. Oh, look, my monitor turned off. How could you? No, disrespectful. Turn back on. It's almost like trying to get a cover song and recreating it. That's not my vibe. I rather write stuff organically or with the artist when they're here. So, but with that said, I hope this video gave you guys something to think about. I know it's a little bit different than my other content, but sometimes I just have thoughts that I want to just put out there, and hopefully you guys resonate with those thoughts. And if you resonate with this one, hit the like and subscribe button. Help me grow the channel. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of this year. And with that said, Miggy out.